Okay, welcome. This time I will be looking at this this example that Context Free did for his stream. He would compare a lot of different languages here, doing some cleanup in C, C++, D, Lua, Python, Ruby, Rust, TypeScript, Zig, and so on. And the reason I picked this is because, well, the examples are good. It sort of has some relevant. Usually, those he writes really good examples, and it's hard to actually get some code that allows you to demonstrate the entire functionality of a language. It's you end up doing very simple things, and the simple things are in general doing hitting very little of the actual language. So let's, without further ado, let's look at the C version. And if I look at the C version here, I hope this is like big enough that I can make it bigger, like so people see. It's actually pretty long here. And originally my intention was to use the C version and sort of base it on that one. But it's pretty hard to use this one. It's oh heck, I just made it too small. Okay, so that piece of code is just sort of hard to read and untangle. So I think I could use the D code here, or I could use possibly Zig. So I am not sure. This is completely without any preparations. I just wanted to just go out and let people see like how I would tackle this. So I'm going to pick Zig here because it just happens to be simple to do that. And I'm just going to paste it in here. And now I'm going to write some C3 here. So first of all, the C code could probably be very easily used. You could use that straight off, but it wouldn't show anything what you could do differently in C3. So let's look at this. So it used some prints, so we're going to import the print functions. Now we get that. And here they make some struct, right? Okay, this is a resource. Let's just follow this, right? So it's a resource, and it has some init and stuff. And it has some D in it, and it has a name, right? So we're going to make a name. So that's a string here. And we're going to have some functions. So let's do that. We're going to have some let's see here. The init function is just this regular function. So it's going to return a resource. So in this case, when sort of let me look at this code here again. Like, what is the intent here? So the intent is to create something, right? So it's going to be like a static function. So static functions in C3, I would always just use regular functions. So I'm going to call this resource init, right? And it's going to take a string name, and it's going to obviously return a resource, and this is how it looks like if you have an optional return there. And now it apparently does something like it wants to write open and then the name, right? And then it's going to return a resource, right? So in this case, it's somewhat simpler, so I can just do that. and that was the init, but the dinit is, I think it's a method. So we're going to do that and it returns a void. So okay, and it's a resource and it's dinit, and then it takes a resource, resource. So we can call it this or something. Okay. So in this example, it's a bit simpler, similar. Sorry, to Zig. So we're gonna do like this with the fan, and then we're going to close and just have that and take the name. Okay, and then we're done. So that was implementing that part. And now they had some error, and in that's called fault in C3. So we can call it welcome to your doom. So it has to be uppercase in C3. C3 is a bit more picky about what is like. This is starting with uppercase, and this is all uppercase, and that has to do with actually having a C-like syntax, but having it easily parsable. So we have some prep out. I'm just going to bring that one. It's just going to return a resource, and then it does prep out. Let me just, I'm just going to call this, okay. So have an string out name, right? And then we have, what's that? It's a const of a const of an const array of a resource. So let's see here. So okay, so that would be in C3, that would be a string like this, and prep names. Okay. And then we're gonna get the writer. So we have a resource. And let me see here. In this case, I think the try would what? It probably will return a. This is probably the same here. So I'm going to get a writer, and I'm going to do a resource init of the out name, and then we just do this. So this will rethrow the error, or actually the throw the optional result, the fault in there. And there is an error defer, and we have the for catch, so it will be the writer, the init, so like that. And then for each of those names in prep names, what we're going to do then, for each of them we're going to grab a resource reader, and we're going to do that like that, and then we're going to defer. Oh, here they do differently. So okay, here we jump out, and then we have a reader init, and I don't know what this is. I guess this is something to do later, right? So we're gonna have that. So welcome to your doom. Let me just translate this. I haven't even tried it, so bear with me. I don't remember that particular chapter of that particular video, but it's a good example. So I'm going to grab that, and then we're going to show the name again, and then yes, and then we are going to return writer. It's like that, and then we have a main, and yes, we can just throw an error. That was like that. Okay, void main. Usually I would not do that. I would just make it throw. Okay, so here we have some writer. We have resource. We have we have a plain resource because it will just throw it out. So we have still the prep out, and we're going to take out, and we're going to take a list of A and B. So we can take a string right like that, and let's see, and then we have defer, writer, the init. Sorry, I am slow to ban people here. This here. So, okay. And then use out. What's that? So, okay, it doesn't do anything. So just as a print, and I guess use out. Okay, and IO. Now, let's see here. All right, so let's see what happens if I run this. See if I had some other error here. Okay. Oh. Okay, so I forgot about that. So we can propagate that error up. Okay, so we get some open out, and then we open A, use A, close A, open B, use B, close B, use out, close out. Okay, I think that was what we're supposed to do. And now let's see what happens if we have the error here. So if we have true, then we're going to do this. And now I think that we are going to end up going outside, like exiting the main here. And I don't know. Yeah, it will just give return us turn up 1, right? So let's here. So here we go, open out. We open A, we close A, and we close out. And we get makes it go like this just because of launching. So this was a very short example here. Now, just for fun, we can compare this to the SIG version. So let me just see here. So, okay, you can't see the console, right? Left side of the console. Sorry if that is the case. Hang on. So I'm just going to hang on. Just let's see if I can change this whole thing here. Screen share. You should be able to see most of the screen anyway. Right? Do people see the whole screen now? Like the whole part? Hopefully. So I'm going to grab this Zig part again. So here we have the Zig version, and there is the C2 version, and of course we can make this more compact, just for fun. So I'm just going to be lazy and do this. No, because sometimes you would maybe put the arrow on top. And yeah. Okay, so let me just show, like put it up here perhaps. There's not screen. So this was when it was running without the error. Then we get this resource close and open, and then with the errors would be like this. And obviously here we are talking about we're doing doing it using defer, and that is like the normal thing. But we can also think about doing something else. So now I'm going to introduce something completely different here, and I'm just going to code this like straight off. I'm going to say that let's create a macro, and it is right now I'm just going to do like this, just going to take the resource, but it could do anything. Or actually I can do it. I can maybe like open with, let's open with, and we're going to grab the resource here, or actually we're going to have like this. We're just going to have a body, and it's going to be a resource, and the macro is going to, it's going to take an argument, of course, a string name, and what it is going to do is going to do a resource init and take the name. So we have a resource, and it will, we can throw something, and then it will do a defer. It will do a defer resource to init, and then we will take the body, and then we will pass it the resource like that. And what does this mean then? This means that I'm making a macro, and it's going to, for this part, just like a regular macro or a function, right? But this part means I'm going to provide trailing body. It's like a lambda, right? And then it's going to unpack that, and because it's like inside of this, it's just going to have defer pasted in there. So what I can do now is like I can do, oh sorry, I have to make it, this name is like required because this macro does something other than like a function. So function-like macros don't need to have that. So I'm just going to take the name, and now I'm going to have this, and now I'm going to have my resource reader. This is not like giving us a lot of new stuff, but it is what it is. Oh, this is interesting because I just realized I haven't tried these macros like that. Let's see where it wants me to put that one. Okay, so I can remove this part, and I'm just going to do this. Oh, we could pretend that we were using the resource, so we can do use reader name, right? So we can prove that we're actually using it. And let's see if this compiles, because I just realized that this might be weird to the compiler, but it should work, but might not. Yeah. So here we get the same thing, right? We get an open A, close A, but this is what's doing it, and we can maybe can prove that by saying also maybe defer, print then using open with to close, right? So now we can do that inside here. So I'm going to make this defer. I'm going to print using open to close, use open with to close. And in this case now, you can see how using open with to close and then close A. Right, so we're basically doing the something similar to Java's like this try with resource. So these are the options. You can do defer, and you can have helper methods where it's released when you go out of bounds, and this method is actually very useful for some things, like for example, pushing and popping an allocator. So you don't want to push an allocator and then accidentally forget to release them. So this will, so there are things like the for example the temporary memory pool. It will use, you would usually use a pool. It looks like this, like pool, and then code goes in here, allocations goes in here, and this would, when it goes out of scope, all the temporary allocations inside of here will just get cleaned up. So that's that, and I guess this is all I want to show. Just some simple stuff here, and yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Any questions? Just leave it in the chat window. Chat now if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll just shut this down here. Thank you. Oh, there's can the resource open with views outside of that? No, it will not be, because we create a here in this the macro here. Here, this scope actually exists. So what happens here is that this code is basically copied in here with the scope. So defer will, you could leak this one, of course. You can leak the reference to that one, but it would still get cleaned up using the defer here. And note how you can, like, it's okay to do like return something here. It would still get cleaned up because of the defer. So it's safe to do whatever you want to do. Any other questions? Later, I'm going to do a video, about the errors more in detail. Sorry, let's see here. A question: can we do the same for the writer? Well, the writer here, we can't do that because we want that one to exit, right? We want it to escape here, right? We return the writer, so we can't do a defer here because defer, wherever we put the defer, it would exit here. Like here it exits, so we would have to release it, and that's what we could do. Something like prep out that does this and has like something inside, but it's because of it exits there, and that's why I didn't do anything with it. And so the reason why you have the catch here is that because this may fail, right? And but you don't want to, if it fails, you don't want to keep the writer. So you only do the init if it fails. So that's like a gotcha you have to be careful with, actually, when you do like this sort of thing. Yes. Anything else? put the catch, not put the catch. If yeah, I mean, what would happen if I didn't put the catch here? Well, that if I didn't put, if I just did this, okay, if I just did this, obviously, I shouldn't be able, I shouldn't return the writer because it's just initialized. The reason why I can, if I remove, if I don't have this, let's see what happens if I have an error, because that is the only that is the only case where we have any problems with it. So in this case, we see that we're not closing, we're not doing a closeout here, and so we need this one just to have the close right here. In this case, we have the closeout here because we do this. And also note that if we commented out this, then in the, like, if there is no error, then it doesn't matter. So here, close out, and if we remove this one, we will still close it. So it's just for the error case, and that is also what catch means. Like just run this if there is an error, if this exits with an optional value. And if it just fails initially here, then in that case we don't even hit this one. So we can also I can also show this if I just fail here. I could fail let's see, error. So in this case, we don't get anything. We just get end because we go into the prep out. We try to do this one, but this one was rethrow it and we'll exit, and there's no need for the init because we didn't have an init to begin with. So this doesn't show really the difference between C3 and Zig errors because we're just passing on the errors. But once you start handling the errors, there is a difference. So that's I'll look for examples, maybe contrast with Zig and also with Odin, because that's, I think those comparisons are interesting. Thank you everyone for watching then. Bye bye.